The following is a presentation of Baldwin Sports Live, your home for the Baldwin Bulldogs. Baldwin Sports Live is brought to you by Kelly Neufeld, Farm Bureau Financial Services, Baldwin State Bank, Heartland Plumbing, Family Medicine of Baldwin City, Morningstar Care Homes, Trindle Lumber Company, State Farm Agent Cody Anno, One Choice Heating and Air Conditioning, Lamb Roberts Price Funeral Home, Rice Precision Manufacturing, Baldwin City Recreation Commission, Elite Chiropractic, the Lumberyard Arts Center, and by the Baldwin City Chamber of Commerce. This is Baldwin Sports Live.
And good afternoon from Spring Hill tonight, where the Baldwin Bulldogs are on the road to take on the Spring Hill Broncos in a big girls soccer game here on Baldwin Sports Live. Along with Tristan Jordan, I'm Bryce Kessler as we get you set for this one. Two teams that have had a lot of success this year. Spring Hill, 5-3-1 record. They have won 3 straight games, and all in shutout fashion. A pair of 10-0 victories over Ottawa and Leavenworth. A 6-0 win over Eudora as well. So coming in with some good confidence now. 5 wins overall this year for Baldwin. 6-2-1. They have had a tough stretch of games, but they have had success during their recent tough stretch where they have faced a number 3 ranked team in Hayden, a couple of teams in the receiving votes category in Bishop Seabury and Heritage Christian, a ranked Lewisburg team, and a ranked Cape-Haravel team. So that's a lot of ranked teams they have faced here in their last 5 or so matches. 3 of them, though, have come away with victories. 2-1 over Bishop Seabury, 3-0 over Heritage Christian, and a big 3-1 win at home over Lewisburg just this last week. And a couple of 1-0 losses to Hayden and Cape-Haravel. Those are the only 2 losses this year for Baldwin as the Bulldogs enter play today at 6-2-1 on the season. So a good matchup here between Baldwin and Spring Hill coming up from Spring Hill, Kansas tonight as we get you set here on the Baldwin Sports Live pregame show. More pregame coverage when we come back here from Spring Hill on Baldwin Sports Live.
At Baldwin State Bank, we love being part of the community we serve. Our roots run deep in Baldwin City, and our commitment runs deeper. Whether it's that dream house you can't wait to call home, or the trust of your personal finances, both present and future, we're here to serve you, our customers, our neighbors. Baldwin State Bank, proud supporter of the Baldwin Bulldogs for more than 100 years and counting. Come see us downtown or online at baldwinstatebank.com. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
With Heartland Plumbing, you get full-service plumbing from a real plumber, not a sales guy who's just there to fix a leak. Heartland Plumbing sets appointments they hold true to, not an inconvenient block of time they might be there. With a strong reputation and years of quality service, Heartland Plumbing has the tools and the people to get your plumbing job done on time the first time. Give them a call at 913-856-5846, serving every big town and small town around, residential and commercial. That's Heartland Plumbing, the plumber you can open your door to.
State Farm Insurance Agent Cody Anno is ready to be there for you every step of the way. From starting policies out to the day disaster strikes, Cody and his team are ready to help. Cody strives to be different, doing things the other people don't and other agencies won't, helping more people in more ways. That's Cody Anno State Farm. Call 785-594-0270 or stop by at 208 Baker Street for a cup of coffee and a free quote for your auto, home, or life insurance with Cody Anno, your local State Farm insurance agent in Baldwin City.
Morningstar Care Homes is looking for the next members of their team of compassionate caregivers. If you're a certified nurse's aide or medication aide or interested in becoming certified with company reimbursement, apply today and join the locally owned care team at Morningstar Care Homes. Offering paid leave, health, dental, and vision insurance and a low 5-to-1 patient-to-caregiver ratio. Apply online at morningstarcarehomes.com/careers or call 785-594-2603. Positions available in Baldwin City, Ottawa, Fredonia, and Neodesha.
Welcome back once again here to Spring Hill as we get you set tonight for Baldwin and Spring Hill soccer. Coming up, two teams looking to keep their successful seasons going. Baldwin 6-2-1, Spring Hill 5-3-1. Tristan Jordan's on the call with us tonight. And Tristan, you've seen this Spring Hill team several times this year as the Baldwin fans watching tonight get settled in to watch their team take on the Broncos. Give us a little scouting report, if you will, on what we're going to see tonight from this Spring Hill team.
Definitely. So Spring Hill really likes to press the ball all the way up to their striker, who's going to be number 20. Peyton Vogelbacher is her name. She has done a nice job this season of holding possession up top, allowing those wingers and Kate Milroy and Ronnie Ferris to push down those wings and then lay it out to one or the other, and then that's where the opportunity comes from. Either they'll take the shot from the wing or they'll lay it back into the middle for Reagan Downs, their number 16 central attacking midfielder. Now, their center backs are also somebody to keep an eye on. Brooke Powell and Mackenzie Hood, number 17 and 12 respectively. Both of those are very physical, very pacey center backs. Mackenzie Hood likes to take that ball and dribble all the way into the attacking third, trying to get involved in the attack, especially if there's not much going on her defensive end, which we know will not be the case with a team like Baldwin.
Yeah, the Baldwin Bulldogs coming into this game, they are looking to use their big two up front between Fasayo Afanja and Riley Smith. Those two have combined to score 14 goals this year for the Bulldogs. And Smith, the assist leader on this team, sets up so much for what they do. Third all-time in Baldwin High School history in assists, and she has a half dozen this year to go along with her 5 goals. And Afanja, coming off of a big game against Lewisburg, and the last game we had for you here on Baldwin Sports Live, she had all 3 of those goals in a 3-1 victory in that 8-5 matchup between Baldwin and Lewisburg. So she is certainly a great athlete up front that leads this attack for Baldwin, and I think we should be in store for some pretty good matchups in this game, and we'll see what gives as this one moves along. As all the soccer fans know, it's just a slight window here, slight window there that can make a difference in a game, and that's what both teams are going to be trying to find the edge here today. We'll take another quick break here on the pregame show. When we come back, we'll run down the lineups for you and get ready to get this one underway between Baldwin and Spring Hill coming up here on Baldwin Sports Live.
Trindle Lumber Company is the go-to stop for every do-it-yourselfer and professional contractor. They carry a wide variety of plumbing, electrical, and hardware products, along with a vast selection of windows, doors, and paint. Their full-service drive-through lumber yard has what you need for every project and offers free estimates and professional delivery. At Trindle Lumber Company, you get the right products with the best service. Stop by at 1516 South Main in Ottawa or call 785-242-8144.
Kelly Neufeld and his team at Farm Bureau Financial Services are there to help you protect what matters most in your life. From insurance plans customized to fit everything you need covered, to comprehensive financial planning to help you achieve your goals both present and future. Kelly works uniquely with you face to face to gain confidence in your financial well-being. Call 785-594-1055 to set up a meeting with Kelly Neufeld at Farm Bureau Financial Services in Baldwin City. It's your future. Let's protect it.
For unbeatable service from a company you can trust, there's only one choice. Clint Davis and the One Choice Heating and Air Conditioning team have the expertise you need when it comes to the comfort of your family. Not only will they get the job done right, but they'll explain the preventative maintenance needed to avoid those costly emergency repairs. To schedule a free quote, call 785-393-9329 and join the Preferred Maintenance Club for special discounts. One Choice Heating and Air Conditioning, the one and only choice for the comfort of your family.
Spring Hill and Baldwin Soccer coming up here on Baldwin Sports Live. The captains meeting with the officials here as we get set to get this game underway. Let's run down the lineups for you real quick. For the home team, the Spring Hill Broncos, it will be Kate Milroy, Elizabeth Williams, Jessica Russo. I checked that. I don't think it was Williams. I put it on there because I've got Ronnie Ferris in the wrong spot on there. I've got her at 4 instead of 2. So Kate Milroy, Ronnie Ferris, Jessica Russo, Isabella Ferris, Molly Murray, Mackenzie Hood, Olivia Infante, Reagan Downs, Peyton Vogelbacher, and Brooke Powell. And the goalkeeper is sophomore Avery Young. That's the lineup that Eric Swartz will run out there to start this one. Head coach of Spring Hill, who comes in with a 5-3-1 record. And for the Baldwin Bulldogs, Drew Ising's lineup for this matchup: McKenna Blanchett, Riley Smith, Bailey Smith, Abby Patterson, Gentry Graham, Nora Prather, Fisayo Afanja, Verity Pollock, Brianna Mitchell, and Alex McBride, with Alyssa Reichert, a sophomore, in goal. So two sophomore goalkeepers in this game, as both teams are been very stingy this year as far as the defense goes. Baldwin giving up just 1.1 goals against, and Spring Hill at 1.4 goals against. So both teams have done a good job limiting the attack and limiting the goal-scoring opportunities for their opponents. Spring Hill, they are a slightly higher scoring team than Baldwin. They average just over 5 goals per game. Baldwin at 2.5 goals per game. And granted, some of those numbers can get inflated sometimes when you have those big wins, when you put up like Spring Hill has done a couple of, in fact, 3 double-digit scoring games this year. So they are a team that can score when given the opportunity, and the Baldwin defense tonight will be put to the test against this Spring Hill team that averages over 5 goals per game. We are just moments away from the opening kickoff. That's next here on Baldwin Sports Live as the Bulldogs are on the road to take on the Spring Hill Broncos here on Baldwin Sports Live.
Lamb Roberts Price Funeral Home is honored to be your choice when the difficult time comes to plan a lasting tribute for your loved ones. There to guide you through the process from beginning to end with each family's unique traditions and beliefs in mind. Visit lamb-roberts.com to see all of the services offered, including their online pre-planning tool, or call 785-594-3644 to visit with the caring professionals at Baldwin City's only locally owned funeral service and cremation service provider, Lamb Roberts Price Funeral Home.
At Family Medicine of Baldwin City, you'll find incredible care close to home. A friendly staff here for you when you need them, offering primary care for all ages, from general physicals and health exams to minor procedures and x-ray services, along with an overall patient education, ensuring peace of mind that you're receiving the best care possible in a convenient, accessible manner. Visit lmh.org or call 785-594-2512 to schedule an appointment and learn more about the incredible primary care providers at Family Medicine of Baldwin City, your partner for lifelong health.
State Farm Insurance Agent Cody Anno is ready to be there for you every step of the way. From starting policies out to the day disaster strikes, Cody and his team are ready to help. Cody strives to be different, doing things the other people don't and other agencies won't, helping more people in more ways. That's Cody Anno State Farm. Call 785-594-0270 or stop by at 208 Baker Street for a cup of coffee and a free quote for your auto, home, or life insurance with Cody Anno, your local State Farm insurance agent in Baldwin City.
Baldwin and Spring Hill coming up here on Baldwin Sports Live as we welcome you back to the beautiful facilities here at Spring Hill High School. One of the top, if not the top, in my opinion, soccer facilities at the high school level here in Kansas, or maybe anywhere for that matter. National Anthem's going to be played, so we'll step aside for that. Be back for the opening kickoff right after this here on Baldwin Sports Live.
How do you see the world?
At Shriners Hospitals for Children, we know that changing how you see things can turn them into
everyday miracles.
Like riding my bike.
Breaking boards. Hugging my mom.
Every day for over 90 years, Shriners Hospitals for Children has been sending love to the rescue, regardless of a family's ability to pay.
If you know a child we can help, call or go online now.
Thank you. Can I help you today?
No thanks. I'm just looking. Oh, this is cute. So?
You wouldn't do it there. So don't do it here. Sportsmanship. It's up to you.
Like they're the fashion police.
And we welcome you back here to Spring Hill as we get set for the opening kickoff tonight. The opening kick is brought to you by Baldwin City Recreation Commission. And today feels like a day where you might want to hop into a pool. Baldwin City Recreation Commission wants you to remember that pool passes are going on sale soon, starting May 2nd. So right around the corner next week on Monday, those pool passes will go on sale, and the early bird pricing lasts only through May 21st. So you've got a few weeks there to get your pool passes purchased, whether it be the family pass, the individual pass, lap swim, or deep water exercise pass, or of course those punch cards. You can do that starting next Monday, May 2nd. So put a reminder in your calendar to get your pool passes purchased. And that early bird pricing only lasts through May 21st there at Baldwin City Recreation Commission. You can purchase it online at baldwinrec.org. And while you're there and you're looking for a summer job, perhaps, they also are hiring right now for all their summer help positions. So if you or you know somebody who's looking for perhaps a summer job and join a great team there at Baldwin City Recreation Commission, you can apply online at baldwinrec.org or stop by at 705 High Street. So the lineup's getting announced here as the Baldwin Bulldogs have now taken the pitch, and the Spring Hill Broncos will have their starters announced here to the fans in attendance on a beautiful day here in Spring Hill. We've had a lot of not-so-beautiful weather days this spring during spring sports season, but today is certainly in the category of a great day to be outside watching some soccer. It's 66 degrees right now, it says, although with the bright sunshine, it feels a little bit warmer than that even. There is a slight breeze coming from the south-southeast, about 12 miles per hour, but it's not a gusting wind. We've had a lot of those gusting wind days. It's a nice little steady south breeze, about 12 miles per hour, and 66 degree, hardly a cloud in the sky, sunny day here in Spring Hill. So beautiful evening for soccer, and we expect this to be a pretty good matchup here between Spring Hill and Baldwin. Spring Hill has won 3 in a row, victories over Ottawa, Leavenworth, and Eudora. And in fact, all 5 victories this year for Spring Hill have been shutouts. Those last 3, and then also a 3-0 shutout over Lewisburg and a 12-0 shutout to open the season against Tonganoxie. So if you're Baldwin, score a goal and perhaps you'll win the game then. That's been the case so far this year against Spring Hill. Every time they've surrendered at least one goal, they've ended up either losing or tying, in the case of a 3-3 tie on the road at DeSoto earlier this year. And so Baldwin, they've won games in a multitude of ways. Blowout win over Ottawa 7-1, shutout win over Heritage Christian 3-0, and then they have several one-goal victories, a 3-2 win over Maranatha, a 3-2 win over Bonner Springs, a 2-1 overtime win over Bishop Seabury. So they found lots of different ways to win games this year, and they'll look to find a way to win one on the road here over Spring Hill. So Fasayo Afanja will give the ball the first kick to get us underway. I'm Bryce Kessler, joined by Tristan Jordan for this one. And early on in this game, Tristan, as we get this one underway and both sides kind of try to feel each other out and see where they might find an advantage in this game, what are you looking for from these two teams here early on in this game to try and decide who that advantage is going to go to early on?
Absolutely. So if we look at what we know from Baldwin, they have been an attacking-focused team, right? So with Afanja and with Smith up in that forward area, they need to get on the attacking foot early. Whereas if you're Spring Hill, you want to do exactly what you're doing now, and you want to prevent that from happening. You want to maintain possession as frequently as you can and just try to rotate possession along that back line to keep it away and out of the possession of the attackers from Baldwin.
And how about this? 20 seconds in and already a corner opportunity for Spring Hill.
In their match against Leavenworth, Spring Hill was able to score in the opening minute.
We'll see if they're able to get a shot on goal here. Not going to happen yet. Vogelbacher took that corner there for Spring Hill, but nothing comes of it right away. And now this ball ends up out of bounds and a goal kick coming up for Baldwin. So some early pressure, though, down in that zone for Spring Hill after they took the possession away from Baldwin. Bulldogs work it up for the first time here. That's Smith who leaves it out to this near side for McBride. Smith controls so much of the game in the middle of this field for Baldwin. Leads the team in assists, second the team in goals. All-Stater last year, first team All-State as a junior, and likely to earn more accolades this year in her senior season.
And as you mentioned, controlling the midfield there from Smith. Looking at the lineups pregame, the formations from Baldwin, or the formation from Baldwin, I should say, was only a 3-woman back line with a 5-person midfield and then 2 up top. So that'll be an interesting look.
Nice pass here out to Ferris, trying to cross it back into the center, a deflection. Vogelbacher trying to line one up, gets a kick on it, but misses wide to the left.
But as I was saying, for Baldwin, before that opportunity from Spring Hill, Baldwin almost seems like they're going to try to overpower the midfield with bodies to almost guarantee that they're able to maintain possession and force that ball forward into the feet of the forwards.
2.5 minutes into this opening half. Throw in coming up for Baldwin. A lot of pressure early on from Spring Hill.
Spring Hill's schedule has been built primarily around 6A opponents, although they are a 5A team, so they've been trying to force themselves to play against the bigger schools that may have historically larger talent pools.
Ferris on the cross there, but Infante, no one-timer, missed it, and it'll be another goal kick for Baldwin. No score early on in this one.
And my point with the talent pool comment is that when playing against those teams, almost all of those 6A schools utilize this high-pressing style. So in order to prevent against it, you either have to be really solid in possession or you have to have a high press yourself. So they've been able to take some notes from their opponents, and they're obviously implementing that high press here today against their visitors in Baldwin.
Baldwin is yet to have the ball down in this attacking third of the field, and now using the defender to throw the ball off, or they've worked it down there.
However you can get it into the attacking third, you'll take it, right?
That's right. And Afanja, who is 21 in white there for Baldwin, she is a girl they'd like to get some opportunities for. Pushing it back the other way now is Vogelbacher for Spring Hill. Good job, kind of shields the defender off of the body. Across and a goal for Spring Hill. So well done by Vogelbacher setting that up and then able to send the cross to Kate Milroy. who puts it in the back of the net for Spring Hill, and the Broncos take a 1-0 lead.
Milroy had a hat trick against Leavenworth. She is coming back from an injury that hit her ankle earlier this season. She has been a player who has certainly meant a lot to this attack here in Spring Hill and hitting her form yet again here today.
Spring Hill, to give it the pressure, has a chance as they take it away.
That goal from Spring Hill was built out just the same as they build almost everything, is get it up to Vogelbacher as they've done here.
Out to Ferris. Looking for an opportunity to cross it back and plays it back up top.
Nearly every attack from Spring Hill will be a ball sent up to Vogelbacher, number 20 in purple, and then she'll try to push it wide to either Ronnie Ferris or Kate Milroy as she did on the goal and hope that they can get something on net.
Here's where Afonja is best in the open field, using her speed, her strength. Comes into the middle. This is Blanchett. Nobody home as she tries to lay it out on the right side.
It's the right idea there. You want to have that runner in towards that corner flag. You want to have that opportunity to send in a cross. And if that opportunity isn't there, you want to be able to pull it back and try to dribble your way in at it from the middle.
Here comes Vogelbacher again. Looked like she may have had Ferris out on the right side. It ends up over to Ferris in the end, but no real chance comes of it for Spring Hill. And Baldwin early on, they are having to play on the retreat right now, and good press early up from Spring Hill, who leads it already 1-0.
Well done from Baldwin to play out of that pressure, out of that awkward situation. Almost able to work their way into the attacking third there.
Hood, good pass up to Ferris. Knocked away by Russo. So a throw in for Baldwin as the Bulldogs trail 1-0, 6.5 minutes into the opening half. The early goal from Kate Milroy has Spring Hill on the board.
Here we see again Spring Hill getting the ball up to Vogelbacher. She doesn't have the support on the wings.
Finds Ferris with the left foot, though. Didn't quite get that ball turned. It looked like it was just a little bit too far out in front maybe for Ferris to really get a good swing on that one.
It was good closing down by Baldwin, number 8. Gentry Graham to pressure Vogelbacher into that poor cross into the middle.
Right at Reichard. Sophomore goalkeeper for Baldwin, and she's been busy early on in this one.
Good ball to space in the midfield. Unfortunately, it was cut out. Unfortunately, in the eyes of Baldwin, it was cut out by Jessica Rousseau from Spring Hill.
And Russo makes the run, tries to cross to Vogelbacher, a little bit behind her. Right idea there, just couldn't quite sync it up with Vogelbacher. Now Ferris. Will give and go back to her in the corner. Baldwin able to clear it. Trailing by a goal early on here in the first half.
Baldwin doing well to just simply pass the ball, maintain possession. Spring Hill hit him early, but Baldwin now trying to regain their sea legs in this match, try to claw their way back into it, simply through possession.
Haven't had a real good chance yet as Abby Patterson sends it up, and now Spring Hill comes back away with it. And a mishandle on the touch There in the back for Graham. Will set up a throw in for Spring Hill.
That shot there was taken by number 10 for Spring Hill, Olivia Infante, who has had 2 goals from that same spot. So that'll be something that Baldwin will want to keep an eye on, is number 10 getting that opportunity at the edge of their box. We're in a spot where most players at this level are not going to be much of a threat. However, the midfield for Spring Hill, almost all of them have that ability to just fire their cannon from nearly any range.
Trying to cross it there from the end line. Picked up by the goalkeeper for Baldwin, Reichert. Russo plays it back to Hood. Around they go to Powell.
Here's Spring Hill trying to utilize that possession along their back line where they have the numbers. Almost asking Baldwin to press up.
Good touch by Ferris, trying to get it back to Vogelbacher. Good job controlling that long pass up to her. But they lose it out of bounds. And we'll have our first substitutions of the game.
Those are the moments Baldwin did well there to defend against that counterattack when that ball was sent up towards Vogelbacher, but that is something that they're going to need to look out for because Spring Hill is going to try to shuffle that ball left to right, far side to near side along their back line, almost encouraging Baldwin's pressure. But they need to be careful not to apply too many numbers forward in that press. Otherwise, they'll be caught out almost the way they just were.
Macy Lynn Wolf and Leonie Klingbeil have come into the game for Spring Hill, or for Baldwin, rather. So corner kick here for Downs of Spring Hill. Returned away on their first corner attempt. Good ball by Downs. And it just went sailing past the header attempt of Brooke Powell. That was a really good ball in there from Downs on that corner.
Downs is their free kick specialist here in Spring Hill. The Broncos certainly enjoy having, as I mentioned earlier, those cannons in the midfield. They certainly pay off on free kicks when Reagan Downs is able to get forward.
Downs again. Cross comes in, but able to play it is Reichert. Vogelbacher was making the run, but Reichert hauls it in, and Baldwin will still trying to get something going for the first time, but right away, possession taken back by Downs. Over to Ferris. And a shot right at the face of Reichert. Makes the stop quickly, rolls it back out to McBride. See if Baldwin can get a counter going. Doesn't look like they will, though. Well, that's loose again.
Now's the opportunity that Baldwin has been looking for. They're able to get numbers forward. They have the numbers in their favor now. And just as I'm saying that, the commentator's curse kicks in, and Jessica Russo steps up to the challenge.
Well, the back line right now for Spring Hill, they have not allowed really any breathing room for Baldwin. They are right there on any passes up in that half of the field. Not getting any clean looks at all for Baldwin. Most of the game has been spent down here in this third. Vogelbacher, a little give and go, touches it back up top. Deflected off the attempt by Vogelbacher, and this should be another corner for Spring Hill. So this time Vogelbacher will take the corner for the Broncos. On to the third corner for Spring Hill. Comes in low, skips past the initial wave, and then a chance from Downs, but it's denied by Reichert. Downs again. Milroy trying to come back in the middle of Infante.
Patterson did well to deal with that cross for Milroy. It was not the cross that Milroy was looking for, but she was able to get it off, and it went into an awkward spot for Baldwin to defend. Patterson did a really nice job.
And a beautiful finish for Milroy's second goal of the game, this time using the head on a beautiful cross by Jessica Russo, and that is picture perfect how you draw that one up, Tristan, and it's another goal for Spring Hill. They go up 2-0.
Kate Milroy with the brace. Just a phenomenal rotation of possession from Spring Hill. Milroy had it on that far side. She sent in that cross. It was cleared away by Patterson, and Spring Hill able to gather it, recycle it down to this near sideline, sending in that cross. And just, as you mentioned it, picture-perfect finish from Kate Milroy to add her second tally on the score sheet tonight.
And as Tristan mentioned, coming off of a hat trick just a couple of matches ago for her. And she is 2/3 of the way there again, just 15 minutes into this one. What a start for Spring Hill, and the Broncos lead 2-0 early on. So if you're Baldwin now, and really you've had zero opportunities to this point, and now you're down 2 goals, what's the strategical response here to this situation if you're Baldwin?
Well, you saw Baldwin made a couple of substitutions. They brought on a new player in this left wing spot on this near side. That was nice pressure there out of the backfield for Baldwin. But as I was saying, that substitution early after this second goal, it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to change formation, but it does mean that you give your coach an opportunity to have a conversation with a player such as Afanja, as she is already back at the halfway line, ready to sub back in, likely with new marching orders for her teammates down there on the pitch.
It was a 2-0 lead already for Spring Hill. Here's another corner coming up. Downs gave him a great chance on her last corner. Nothing comes out of this one, and now Baldwin just desperate for a chance to get a run out, get an opportunity going for their attack. So far, they've been on the defensive all game long.
In terms of something that they could alter immediately without the need for a substitution, Baldwin have to be better at winning those 50-50 balls. They're doing a decent job of clearing the ball away if it bounces onto the ground in front of one of them. But as soon as that ball is booted, you have to pick up your back 4 or your back 3 in the case of Baldwin, and you have to push them forward. You have to spring that offsides trap. You have to get ready for the pressure that you know is going to be coming from the Broncos at this point. So really preparing yourself mentally to just have a raining of balls sent into the back line, as we see here as Vogelbacher gets back onto it. It's just going to be relentless from the Broncos as they just hound the back line with more and more crosses, shots, trying to run in between them. It's going to be a long night for Baldwin if they aren't able to win those 50-50 balls.
It was Tessa Dawson who had a chance there for Spring Hill, but it has been all Spring Hill early on in this game. Already 5 shots on goal for the Broncos, 2 goals at 4 corners throughout the first now nearly 18 minutes of this match. Reagan Downs possesses here for Spring Hill. Leaves it outside for Murray. Murray with good ball handling down that end line ends up having it deflected out by Baldwin, but a throw in for Spring Hill, who continues to play the majority of this game down here in this final third. Another one of those 50-50 balls you're talking about, Tristan, right there, that's controlled by Spring Hill. Chipped into the box. Nobody home for Spring Hill. Before the broadcast, we noticed, and I mentioned in the pregame, that the formations
from these two teams. Spring Hill almost opting for more evenly distributed lineup, whereas Baldwin were almost putting the majority of their bodies in the midfield and in an effort to get those attacking opportunities. Well, now it's almost you're hoping that those bodies in the midfield can crowd it up, and they almost have to sit back in more of a defensive block than an attacking generator. Nice passing there from Baldwin, trying to pass out of the pressure that Spring Hill has been relentlessly applying.
Smith sends it behind Afonja, and back comes Spring Hill.
One of the benefits to a system that is pressing as hard as Spring Hill is as soon as a pass is even slightly off the mark, it is almost guaranteed to fall to the feet of an opponent, as it did just then, and Spring Hill already have possession again.
Baldwin trailing by a couple of goals already. They are still in search of their first shot, as Blanchett tried to leave this one back out to Mitchell. But Russo there defensively to take it back for Spring Hill. And now here they come on the counter as that ball gets through the first Baldwin defender. Now Ferris. Vogelbacher had to hold up to avoid an offside. Able to chase it down now, though, on the end line, and they'll possess with a 2-goal lead midway through this first half.
And it's moments like this. Baldwin were able to clear that ball out, but then they have to press forward and get onto the end of it as it hits the earth. Spring Hill, Reagan Downs, number 16 for Spring Hill, was simply able to just wait for that ball to drop down under no pressure from Baldwin. They have to get their minds right and a little bit sharper in preparation to jump on top of those 50-50s. Spring Hill doing a nice job of rotating possession. They regained it on that far side, able to pass it all the way down to this near side as they try to get something going down here.
It's been very crisp passing down on this side for Spring Hill. A couple of goals, both off a nice pass assist. Vogelbacher and Russo with the 2 assists so far. Milroy, both of the goals for Spring Hill, and the Broncos lead 2-0 with 18.5 to go in the first half.
And it's the passing like this where Baldwin is almost a step behind, if a step in any direction, on passing like that. They just allowed Russo to send it down to Ferris on this near touch line, and then Ferris all the way up to Vogelbacher, who was finally pressed down on.
The feel early on is that Baldwin is just playing reactionary to Spring Hill, and Spring Hill right now is dictating all the movements as this ball is sent towards the goal, but right to Reichard. That's a tough spot to be in if you're Baldwin and just playing reactionary soccer to your opponent who already has a 2-goal lead.
And talk about being in a tough spot to be in. It's not only tough to play in that situation, but it's even harder to try to get your mindset out of that.
Yep.
Trying to regain that attacking mentality that you came into this match ready to provide. So halftime can't come soon enough for this team as they have about 17 minutes remaining before that halftime whistle.
Now, goal or no goal, at this point you feel like Baldwin, they just need an attempt. They need a chance to come their way, and if it doesn't go through, so be it, but at least feel like, okay, we can get an opportunity, because to this point they haven't even sniffed an opportunity to score, as it has completely been controlled by Spring Hill on both sides of the floor, or the field, the majority of it down here on this side. So the ball comes free to Blanchett, trying to push it up to Afonja.
And utilizing that strategy of get the ball to Afonja is only so effective if none of your midfielders are willing to press up and provide another body up there so that Afonja can so much as bounce the ball off of and just receive right away. Give her another way to get around the defenders from Spring Hill.
Substitution coming back in for Baldwin here with 16 minutes to go. It's McBride who comes back on for the Bulldogs. Ferris able to play that ball nicely through the legs of Mitchell. Up top to Downs. Baldwin was calling for a handball, it sounded like there from their side, but Downs fires and misses high.
But there in that opportunity, Downs didn't have a defender within 5-10 yards of her. That's just unacceptable from Baldwin. They have to be able to apply that pressure. They can't allow somebody who's wearing a captain's armband and somebody who they've seen the boot that is on that player to have that much space in an area where she's proven to be dangerous.
2-0 Spring Hill, 15 minutes to go in the first half. Russo wins it right back for Spring Hill.
That's a nice shift of dynamic there from Baldwin as they were the first ones to get on that. I think that's the first open ball they've won.
Ferris gets it back for Spring Hill. Fires it up to Vogelbacher, who makes the run and is going to end up one-on-one, it looks like, with Reichert. Good hustle back, though, as Prather comes back to help out her goalkeeper, Reichert, and avoid what was set up initially to look like a really good chance for Spring Hill. But now Prather will push it back the other way for Baldwin. Smith lost it a little bit, and it's taken back once more by Spring Hill as Afanja tries to apply some pressure up there on Hood. She'll play it back to Young, the goalie. And here comes Spring Hill with a 2-0 lead and 14 minutes to play in the half.
It's really well done by Prather on the defensive side of the ball. Noticing that there was no one coming in on that far side, making the decision to come in and apply that second body of pressure onto Vogelbacher. If nothing else, make her second guess her shot attempt. As Reichert was ready to go on that near post, she was guarding that near side. In the warm-ups for the Bulldogs, they were warming up on taking those near side shots on Reichert. So she was certainly ready to go in terms of practice and fresh frame of mind in that kind of a scenario. But Prather doing a great job of recognition and coming over to end that opportunity.
Infante comes back in for Spring Hill, and it looks like Grace Oppo has joined her in the lineup now for the Broncos, who lead 2-0 with 13 minutes to play in the half. Six shots on goal so far for Spring Hill, none for Baldwin. Infante out to Vogelbacher. A good cross into the middle of the box. A loose ball ends up trickling out, and it looks like it's a corner coming up for Spring Hill, which will be their fifth corner already of this first half.
Baldwin has done well in that instance of simply getting bodies in front of the attempt, forcing it to bounce off of them and out for a corner kick. Now they have to continue that mentality of getting bodies in front.
And a foul on Spring Hill here. Vying for the ball there near the box. So it'll be with 11:55 left to play in this first half. 2-0 Spring Hill on a couple of Kate Milroy goals.
Baldwin defended that corner well. Again, getting their bodies in front of the opportunity from Spring Hill.
Back over to Baldwin. 11 minutes to play in the half. Baldwin has won 3 of their last 4. They lost a 1-0 game to a top 10 ranked team in Care Paravel in their last match. That was the third of what was 3 matches in 3 days for Baldwin. Won the first 2 legs of that tough stretch. 6-2-1 record on the year for Baldwin. But having a tough challenge here tonight against Spring Hill. Broncos have won 3 straight games in a replay tonight. All 5 of their wins this year by way of shutout. Milroy back in, gets the rest, and now comes back on with her 2 goals already today. Kenna Riles also comes out of the pitch for Spring Hill. Russo again wins that 50-50 ball, and Spring Hill looks to set up another opportunity. Downs. Back out to Milroy. Deflection by Prather. Smith lost the handle. And a quick counter now with Vogelbacher. Spins around, fires, and scores for Spring Hill as Peyton Vogelbacher makes it 3-0. Broncos taking advantage of the lost handle that time by Baldwin.
Great opportunity there from Spring Hill, and it was all spurred because Vogelbacher jumped on and was the first to win a 50-50 in the attacking third. Those moments that were so important that I was mentioning the entirety of the first half just had a very crucial impact on this game. Baldwin now already with a hill to climb, starting to become a little bit more daunting as they get ever closer to the second half.
Well, still have not had really even a glimpse of a chance on the attacking side of the field. They have not had a shot yet and have not really even had a look at what could even set up to being a shot to this point. I mean, it has been a complete control right now of the possession by Spring Hill and a 3-0 lead for the Broncos.
Spring Hill has really enjoyed the space that's been afforded to them down here on this near side touchline, right around where Oppo just had that ball bounce out of her and out for a throw-in. But Jessica Russo and Gracie Oppo both have had opportunities down here on this near side, as has Ronnie Ferris. Spring Hill really trying to overload this right side. There's something that the coaching staff is clearly seeing. Baldwin have to acknowledge whatever they're seeing as well and help fortify this near side.
Oppo trying to create another opportunity.
Good overlap there from Russo and a cutback to boot.
Prather clears for Baldwin.
Yet again, Prather with some really good awareness, acknowledging the pressure that Spring Hill was bringing in and the threat that was building out of it. Spring Hill doing the same to Afanja's pressure and her threat that was building, opting to play it all the way back.
Up to Oppo. Deflects off of Prather. And now Nora will try to push the counter up herself.
Prather has certainly earned her stripes here this evening. In a match that could easily have gotten out of hand, it is Nora Prather who is to thank, as she has had several very vital interventions deep in the defensive third for Baldwin to keep this game as tight as it is.
Yet with every breath, it feels like the attack continues from Spring Hill.
That is what a heavy press will do. It almost feels as though the oxygen is being sucked out of a room. Because as soon as you're able to take a breath, it's cut short as the press picks up possession again and the ball is sent back into a mixer.
Blanchett and Mitchell back in for Baldwin. And Ferris returns along with Ferris as well. Isabella Ferris and Ronnie Ferris both back on for Spring Hill here for the final 5.5 minutes of this first half. It's Peyton Vogelbacher on the corner kick coming up here for Spring Hill. And Reichert went up to try and cut that ball off, misjudged it perhaps slightly, and wasn't able to elevate and catch it. Fortunately for her, it skips on through and goes out on the other side. It was deflected by Baldwin, so another corner coming up from the opposite corner now for Spring Hill. It'll be their 8th corner already. Vogelbacher, check that. Downs will take the corner on this side. Batted out by Reichert, so Downs will set it up and do it again.
Good adjustment there from Reichert, acknowledging the previous ball was sent over her. She was pretty far forward in her box, acknowledging that this time the ball was sent in a little more, a little bit deeper, making that adjustment.
An attempt there, an opportunity for Powell. As Downs sailed that one deeper that time over the head of Reichert. Didn't give her a chance to go up and snatch it. And Powell, with the header, was a bit tall with it. And so Baldwin will take it back over as Afonja comes back on for Baldwin. And the Bulldogs really needed something to break their way and get an opportunity here in these final 4 minutes before halftime. See if they can get Afonja in space and create an opportunity for her, but just don't have the numbers. They haven't had the numbers any point up in the attacking third of the field. Ferris over the head of Reichert and out. Goal kick for Baldwin with just under 3 to go in the half.
So when looking at this match from any kind of a coaching standpoint or mentality standpoint, Bryce, if you were a coach, what is something that you would want to tell your team if you're Baldwin in this scenario?
Well, if I were their coach, I would tell them you need to find a new coach. But they would be hard up for coaching if they had me as the coach. As Downs misses that shot, so I'm just going to flip that back around and let you answer the question.
Okay, well that's turnabout's fair play. I respect that. You really almost have to look at this as a teachable moment, right? So this first half clearly did not go the way that anyone from Baldwin was hoping for or anticipated. So you have to look at it as an opportunity to learn another system. They came in hoping to be in an attacking threat.
Ferris trying to create, and a good attempt there. Almost was able to put that ball up in the upper 90 on that attempt, but no do it on that one. So it stays 3-0 with a little less than 2 to go in the half.
So as I was saying, Baldwin, if you're coming into this looking to be an attacking threat, and obviously the heavy pressure from Spring Hill is not allowing you to play that type of system, you almost have to learn a new one on the fly. And this is a really nice teachable moment for athletes at this age where they may not know how to shift into and out of attacking and defensive systems and fluidity of formation. So this would be a decent opportunity to try to learn how to park the bus. And what I mean by that is typically when you're in the lead, if anybody has watched Ted Lasso on Apple TV, there's a phrase that was uttered by a character named Nathan that, as he said, park the bus,
yeah.
Right? And so really what that means is you drop as many of your players back as you can into your defensive half, your defensive third, and your goal is to literally park a school bus in front of, well, I guess not literally, metaphorically park a school bus in front of your net. So you want to make it as difficult as possible for a goal to go into your net. Now, that might make it difficult, and by might, I mean it most definitely makes it more difficult to get an attacking opportunity out of that kind of a system, but judging by the buildup of play and the ferocity or lack thereof of the Baldwin midfield, at least matched up against Spring Hill, you almost have to learn how to utilize a new system in that manner. So I think if I'm the head coach of Baldwin, I'm going to say, let's try to park the bus and get the ball up to Afanja in an effort to get something else going.
We'll see what adjustment the Bulldogs make as we have reached the half. 3-0. Spring Hill, the lead. Here you're watching Bulldog Soccer on Baldwin Sports Live. The Farm Bureau Financial Services halftime show is next.
Kelly Neufeld and his team at Farm Bureau Financial Services are there to help you protect what matters most in your life. From insurance plans customized to fit everything you need covered to comprehensive financial planning to help you achieve your goals both present and future. Kelly works uniquely with you face-to-face to gain confidence in your financial well-being. Call 785-594-1055 to set up a meeting with Kelly Neufeld at Farm Bureau Financial Services in Baldwin City. It's your future. Let's protect it.
Trindle Lumber Company is the go-to stop for every do-it-yourselfer and professional contractor. They carry a wide variety of plumbing, electrical, and hardware products, along with a vast selection of windows, doors, and paint. Their full-service drive-through lumber yard has what you need for every project and offers free estimates and professional delivery. At Trindle Lumber Company, you get the right products with the best service. Stop by at 1516 South Main in Ottawa or call 785-242-8144.
With Heartland Plumbing, you get full-service plumbing from a real plumber, not a sales guy who's just there to fix a leak. Heartland Plumbing sets appointments they hold true to, not an inconvenient block of time they might be there. With a strong reputation and years of quality service, Heartland Plumbing has the tools and the people to get your plumbing job done on time the first time. Give them a call at 913-856-5846, serving every big town and small town around, residential and commercial. That's Heartland Plumbing, the plumber you can open your door to.
Well, it is halftime here in Spring Hill tonight, and it is a 3-0 lead, as you see there, for the Spring Hill Broncos. A very strong first half for the Broncos. It's the Farm Bureau Financial Services halftime show brought to you by Kelly Neufeld, your Farm Bureau agent in Baldwin City, there to help you protect what matters most. That's Kelly Neufeld and his team at Farm Bureau Financial Services. Call 785-594-1055 to set up a meeting and see how Kelly and his team can help you achieve your financial goals, both present and future. Well, the future of this game for Baldwin will hinge on whether they can come out and match the pressure of Spring Hill, because that first half, a dominant effort by the Spring Hill Broncos, Tristan, 3-0 lead. That tells the story in and of itself. But when you just think back to the possession time of that first half, the opportunities in that first half, it was completely one-sided, and Baldwin will have a big change in just the X's and O's are one thing, but this second half, they're going to have to match that intensity that Spring Hill is playing with to have any opportunity to make a comeback or to just give themselves some chances in the second half.
Absolutely, and what Coach Drew Ising is telling his team right now is going to be vital in how they come out of this halftime. Because if he's sitting over there and telling them, we can do this, that's certainly one approach. And another approach would be, we can learn something from this. And if I'm the coach, I'm saying we can learn something from this and hope that your players are able to come out with a mindset of, okay, we're going to pivot, we're going to try to learn something from this game. Whereas if you're trying to tell them you can win, you can do it, you can go forth and do the thing, it's not a bad way to do it because there's really no wrong that the coach can do in this instance aside from saying we're done, we're finished, pack up, let's go home. We're not even playing the second half, right? So almost anything that the head coach could say right now is going to play a positive part on this team. But
that's the beauty of a game here, a regular season game that you're not looking at a playoff game here where your season's on the line here. There's lots to be played still the rest of this year. So, like you say, a learning opportunity to perhaps take this, what you've learned through one half of soccer here. Let's make some improvements on that in the second half. Whatever happens in the second half. Who knows? We might be able to put together a comeback, and all of a sudden the ball bounces our way in the second half. But at the very least, let's come out of this as a better team moving forward with still a handful of games to go in a postseason, which they have high aspirations for after what's been a good start to this season. One first half of soccer aside.
Absolutely. And Spring Hill has had a match that was similar to this for them in the seat of the Bulldogs. They came into the match sort of hoping to be more attacking-minded, trying to almost invite pressure, but still trying to create opportunities and generate those goal-scoring opportunities, but they were caught off guard by their opponents, and they weren't getting the fouls called in their favor. A lot of their players started to get down on themselves mentally, and afterwards I had a conversation with their coaching staff after that match, and it was right after prom that weekend, and they were saying that their players just weren't in the right headspace coming into the game. So that very well may be the case, while it may not be prom for the players.
Well, it was prom on Saturday for Baldwin.
Well,
so
there you go. It very well may be a copy-paste scenario where Baldwin are simply in prom still, and the head coach is saying, you got to rattle yourself out. You're an athlete. You got to be able to have fun and compete. So we'll see if Baldwin are able to come out of this halftime and ready to compete as Spring Hill did in their previous match where they were in a similar situation.
3-0 here at the break. More of the Farm Bureau Financial Services halftime show next.
Morningstar Care Homes is looking for the next members of their team of compassionate caregivers. If you're a certified nurse's aide or medication aide or interested in becoming certified with company reimbursement, apply today and join the locally owned care team at Morningstar Care Homes. Offering paid leave, health, dental, and vision insurance and a low 5-to-1 patient to caregiver ratio. Apply online at morningstarcarehomes.com/careers or call 785-594-2603. Positions available in Baldwin City, Ottawa, Fredonia, and Neodesha.
At Family Medicine of Baldwin City, you'll find incredible care close to home. A friendly staff here for you when you need them, offering primary care for all ages from general physicals and health exams to minor procedures and x-ray services, along with an overall patient education, ensuring peace of mind that you're receiving the best care possible in a convenient, accessible manner. Visit lmh.org or call 785-594-2512 to schedule an appointment and learn more about the incredible primary care providers at Family Medicine of Baldwin City, your partner for lifelong health.
Halftime here in Spring Hill tonight, 3-0 our halftime score as the Spring Hill Broncos jumped on top early in this game. It only took them about 5 minutes to start the scoring in this one. Kate Milroy on a beautiful cross pass from Peyton Vogelbacher netted the first goal of the game for Spring Hill. That came 5 minutes in, and then 10 minutes later, it was Milroy again on perhaps even a better pass. This one from Jessica Russo with a beautiful crossing pass that set up Milroy, who used the header to put Spring Hill on top 2-0 at that point, about 15 minutes into this match. And then it took them a little bit longer, but late in that first half, at the 31-minute mark, it was Peyton Vogelbacher who assisted the first goal, and she scored then the latest goal as she was able to gather possession right at the the top of that goal box and spin to her right and fire it home with the right foot to put the exclamation point on a very good first half for the Spring Hill Broncos, who lead this one 3-0 over the Baldwin Bulldogs as we get set for the second half. You've been watching the Farm Bureau Financial Services halftime show, brought to you by your Baldwin City Farm Bureau agent, Kelly Neufeld. They're proud supporters of the Baldwin Bulldogs at Farm Bureau Financial Services, and they would love to be there to support you in your financial future as well. Go see what I mean and have a chat with Kelly Neufeld at Farm Bureau Financial Services in Baldwin City. It's your future. Let's protect it. Second half starts next here on Baldwin Sports Live.
Kelly Neufeld and his team at Farm Bureau Financial Services are there to help you protect what matters most in your life. From insurance plans customized to fit everything you need covered, to comprehensive financial planning to help you achieve your goals both present and future. Kelly works uniquely with you face-to-face to gain confidence in your financial well-being. Call 785-594-1055 to set up a meeting with Kelly Neufeld at Farm Bureau Financial Services in Baldwin City. It's your future. Let's protect it.
Lamb Roberts Price Funeral Home is honored to be your choice when the difficult time comes to plan a lasting tribute for your loved ones. There to guide you through the process from beginning to end with each family's unique traditions and beliefs in mind. Visit lamb-roberts.com to see all of the services offered, including their online pre-planning tool, or call 785-594-3644 to visit with the caring professionals at Baldwin City's only locally owned funeral service and cremation service provider, Lamb Roberts Price Funeral Home.
Well, here we go to start the second half. Along with Tristan Jordan, I'm Bryce Kessler. We are live from Spring Hill tonight, where the Baldwin Bulldogs are trailing 3-0 as we start the second half of this matchup. And it's Spring Hill who quickly wins possession to start this second half as well. That first half, statistically, all Spring Hill, they had 6 shots on goal, scoring 3 goals, 9 corners for the Broncos. Baldwin did not have a shot attempt in that first half. And as you were calculating possession time on the two sides of the field, I would venture to say about 90% of that first half was spent on the Spring Hill offensive side of the field.
And I would be inclined to agree with you, Bryce.
And I might be shortchanging it.
Honestly, it's very possible, but I would say that 90 is a nice conservative number to put in there. You can tell by Baldwin, even coming into the second half, they've already had to shift into a low block. They're clearing that opportunity there, and there's just no one running in on that ball as a 50-50, maybe because it was guaranteed to go out of play. But even then, you want to have somebody pressuring in on the throw-in, ready to go. So it'll be interesting to see if there have been any shifts made at half. Already a nice bit of pressure from Baldwin.
So the Bulldogs just looking for a nice response in this second half, trailing by 3 goals. It is clearly a tall task as far as the win-loss in this match goes. Not that it can't be done, but at this point, Baldwin hoping to just experience some success as well in this matchup. An attempt there goes just high from Infante off the crossbar and back behind the net. So a goal kick coming up for the Baldwin Bulldogs, who trail 3-0 just underway, second half.
One thing that I will give credit to both sides with that happened, or rather didn't happen in the first half, was there were not a lot of stoppage of play for fouls. Both teams did a nice job of maintaining their arms in by their sides. Nice, clean soccer match thus far.
Yeah, I believe we had just 1, maybe 2, and they were both very, very, I don't know what the word is for, but they were very non-egregious fouls. They were just kind of happen with play. So it was, a very clean first half. And Baldwin so far under attack yet again to start this second half. 3 minutes in, already a couple of attempts coming from the Broncos.
if I'm Baldwin, Baldwin are getting so many goal kicks that I almost would shift how they're taking those goal kicks. Because right now they're just having one player clear it into the middle of the field, and it's almost putting the ball into a blender where there are more Spring Hill bodies than Baldwin bodies, or so it seems, based on who's getting possession out of those opportunities. If Baldwin are struggling to win 50-50s, it would almost make sense to play it out of the back.
And ball deflects off of Baldwin and trickles out of bounds.
By play it out of the back, I mean simply pass to a player instead of trying to go for a field goal in American football terms.
Ball comes free. And a shot by Infante, scooped up by Reichard.
The Bulldogs were doing a nice job of applying pressure there in 2s and 3s on the ball carrier for the Broncos. The question will be, will that affect their numbers in the attack? And already Baldwin are already sitting further back. Again, even as the Broncos break the halfway line, Baldwin have 4, 5, 6, 7 bodies back touching the keeper's box. Good defensive work there.
And Prather's had a good game back there on that last line of defense for Baldwin. She's made a couple of nice plays. And once again, they're able to fend off Ronnie Ferris.
In a situation like this, I would have Reichert take the goal kick and lay it off to a field player. Then you have more than one body in that defensive area, able to maintain possession, especially when Spring Hill aren't going to press that high up the pitch on a goal kick, because it's just, there isn't much of a tactical advantage right now to apply that pressure.
Milroy, a couple of goals in the game. Lays it off to Downs. Back to Milroy. Murray. And that right there was just kind of a microcosm of the whole game. Two Baldwin players standing right there, and both kind of just thought the other was going to take the ball, and Spring Hill ends up coming away with it and off the goal. And then, did they say that went in?
I believe they did.
That was close for Ferris. Ronnie Ferris will end up with a goal. It was kind of awkward looking because it looked like it went off the side post, but it does cross the line, so it's a goal for Ferris, and it's a 4-0 lead for Spring Hill.
Yeah, looking at my tiny little camera monitor, I initially thought that it had scored, so I almost started to zoom in on Ferris, and then quickly had to zoom right back out as the opportunity was still building.
Yeah, it looked at the time like it was going to be a for sure goal for Ferris, and I think it was ended up a little closer than it probably should have for her, and she still ends up with the goal to extend this lead for Spring Hill. As the Broncos now are on top 4-0.
Off of the kickoff from the goal, Baldwin had a nice idea there to trail back, rotate possession along the back line, but as soon as it got to the far side, the opportunity was lost as they tried to clear it up and get the ball to Afonja.
It may just be a rough day for Baldwin Knights because now my pen just broke in half, so we just
Was it at least a clean break so you could screw it back together, or is it
no,
a pretty
it's
aggressive snap?
Yeah, well, it's done. It's a goner.
That's just unlucky.
Unlucky. You hear that a lot in soccer.
Yes, a lot of superstition around the sport. So maybe that pen breaking is a sign of a shift of winds for Baldwin. The ball trails as far onto the Spring Hill half as we have seen in this half.
Yeah. Here's Smith. Surveys. Over to Mitchell. Powell able to clear it out of there for Spring Hill. Downs plays it up to Milroy. Poked free by the Baldwin defense again. That's Drummond.
Apologizes. The ball goes every time into that corner space on the right side or the left side of your screen. We have a wall that blocks both of those corner flags, so we'll leave it to your imagination as to what happens.
Now, the good news is for the viewers, nobody's probably going to be scoring out of that spot. If they are, that's an impressive strike.
Indeed. We almost saw an Olympico on the other side from a corner kick taken by Peyton Vogel. Thankfully, we had viewership of that corner flag. So hopefully,
explain the term Olympico.
Yes, that's a great point. So an Olympico is when there's a corner kick and the person taking the corner kick, in that case, Peyton Vogel, they take the corner kick and it doesn't touch anybody else and it just goes straight into the back of the net, and it is referred to as an Olympico because it's something that someone who attends the Olympics would have done.
Firing and shot there is the aforementioned Peyton Vogelbacher.
Credit to Baldwin, the goal scorers for Spring Hill. Kate Milroy has had 2. She's been relatively quiet on the season. She does have a hat trick against Leavenworth. However, aside from that, she's been defended decently as most teams have had to allocate more pressure onto Downs and Vogelbacher.
Good cross there by Downs off the side post that time as Vogelbacher put her hands up to her face. Couldn't believe it. That was about as empty of a net look you can get. And unfortunately for Peyton Vogelbacher, she may have just hit that one slightly or trying to just kind of guide it in there and off the side post and no good.
And you could tell Vogelbacher knew how good of an opportunity that was. She was opting for placement over power in that scenario, simply trying to inside the foot pass it into that corner. Not quite able to get the aim on that shot as she wanted. She knew she could have done better in that instance.
Here's a chance maybe for Afonja as she tries to win the race up the field, and they're going to bring it back on a foul on the previous touch. So Baldwin will have a free kick from the midfield logo here for Riley Smith.
Afonja and the other attackers for Baldwin have had a tall task all evening going up against a couple of seniors in that center back duo in Mackenzie Hood and Brooke Powell, both of which have committed to Division I schools to play soccer. So certainly no small task to try to muscle your way past or dribble around them.
Vogelbacher uses her body to shield off the defender. Now works it up. Keeps it in control. Looking to set up that chance with the right foot, but doesn't come for her, so she brings it back out to the side to Ferris. From way outside. Comes off the side of the foot of Ferris, and Baldwin will clear it away. Down 4 goals, though, with just under 28 minutes to go in this contest.
Now that we've had a decent sample size, as 20 minutes have passed on, or hereabout, have passed on in the second half here, it's interesting to see what tactical changes and shifts were made. We've seen Baldwin apply a bit more pressure in an effort to win those 50-50 opportunities. But as the half wears on, it almost feels like those instructions are wearing away.
Spring Hill had a 3-0 lead in the first half. A nice through ball to Milroy. Sets her up with a chance. Prather, good job pressuring again, though. Nora Prather not giving up there. She comes fighting back to take away what initially on that pass, on that through ball to Milroy, looked like it was going to set up Kate for a great opportunity to strike, but Prather denies it.
Yet another instance where Prather's presence in this match has been vital to Baldwin's life remaining, as this game could have gotten out of hand really quickly if not for the intervention of Baldwin's number 17.
Now she has taken away what was looking like at least 2, if not 3 occasions where it was going to be a one-on-one situation, which as a goalkeeper I'm sure is your worst nightmare, to see a uncontested striker coming at you one-on-one, because that's a lot of ground to cover as a goalkeeper when you're one-on-one and they've got the every option available to them.
Absolutely, and part of that comes with experience as a goalkeeper. Reichert will gain that awareness of positioning in the box and cutting off the angle as she comes out, trying to narrow that angle. So what I mean by that is when an attacker is pressing in on this near side, she's going to come down to almost directly at the angle of that 6-yard box, the smaller box within the keeper's box. She's going to come out to the edge of that, if not a little bit further, right to the point of that 6-yard box in an effort to deny any opportunity that could be created from that angle.
That was the 10th corner kick of this match for Spring Hill. Blanchett comes back in along with Gentry Graham for Baldwin. 25 minutes to go. 4-0 Spring Hill. Ronnie Ferris has added the lone goal in this second half to go along with 3 first-half goals for the Broncos. 2 of those from Kate Milroy and the third from Peyton Vogelbacher. Here's Russo. Has 1 assist already on the night. Another corner coming up here for Spring Hill.
Spring Hill continue to try to work that ball down the sides. Baldwin doing a nice job of trying to bottleneck the ball as it's starting to get going down that far sideline and down this near sideline. But as soon as that first pass is made, it catches 2 defenders out, and they are struggling to get back to apply that pressure elsewhere. Prather again. She was able to dribble that ball out of harm's way. Unfortunately, was dispossessed and then immediately had to drop back and tackle the ball out of play for another corner kick. Prather yet again etching how important she is to this Bulldogs team.
Another corner here for Spring Hill. If you had to score off a corner, despite a dozen opportunities, they've had some good looks. Baldwin will lose this ball out on the side with 22 and a half minutes to go. Baldwin Sports Live brought to you in part by Rice Precision Manufacturing in Baldwin City. Fast-growing, family-owned company that specializes in CNC machining and fabrication of parts, components, and assemblies for a wide range of industries. Always looking to add to their great team. Send an email to jobs@riceprecision.com to inquire about current openings and how you can help the team at Rice Precision Manufacturing. Gracie Oppow back in for Spring Hill, and Afanja returns for the Bulldogs along with Brianna Mitchell and Alex McBride. Corner sent into the box, and Baldwin clears it away momentarily. Now Spring Hill again possesses. Long shot off of the mark. 21 and a half to go. Bulldogs will be back home. They'll be on the road again later this week when they go to Piper for their next game on Thursday. And then home on Friday. And they'll host Basel Linwood. Next Monday, they have a visit to the number 1 ranked team in Class 4A, Bishop Miege. They've already played 3 ranked teams in the latest 4A poll, with one more coming up in Miege. Here comes the ball up to Afanja, but sliding out there is Avery Young to take away what wasn't by definition a chance for Baldwin, but it's as close as they've had to a chance so far.
If you're Baldwin, you just want one shot, right?
Yep.
You just want something to take away from this match in a positive attacking light. I know I mentioned in the first half to try to park the bus, but at some point you have to throw all caution to the wind. You have to shift your tactics again. Simply just throw your numbers forward.
At the midway point of this second half.
Nice use of the body there from Reagan Downs. Afanja taking note and trying to do the same. Fortunately, the motion of the ball continued into the path of Downs, where she was able to send it down towards this near touchline for the Broncos to maintain possession.
Something Spring Hill's done very well all game long. Really crisp and clean with their touches. Use the body well to shield off the defender and give themselves space to make a play. Downs centers it, but not able to get enough on that shot. McCormick. Ferris trying to line it up. Now it comes back out top to Murray. Russo making the run, leaves it up top again, and that shot goes right to the waiting mitts of Alyssa Reichard.
Nice pressure there from Russo. Questionable no call, however, as it did look like there may have been some hands grabbing to drag Baldwin down. Heads up play from Russo, though, for Spring Hill to deny any kind of forward movement. McBride was the player that I felt might have been fouled.
Prather gets tripped up, so Baldwin will kick it out of there with 17:20 to go, and the Bulldogs trailing 4-0 here on the road in Spring Hill tonight. Beautiful evening for soccer. But the results to this point have been much prettier for Spring Hill. The home team here on their home pitch have had a great performance in this one. And Avery Young, she was probably getting a little nervous there with that ball coming back at her like that. Able to clear it out of there and says, let's just reset here.
Now she's having a conversation with her center back saying, you have to step here, you have to do that. Make it so that I don't have to be in that awkward position, right? So definitely not the positioning that Spring Hill wanted to be in, which is good in the perspective of Baldwin that they were able to apply that kind of pressure, make the Broncos feel uncomfortable, even if it was just for the first time this match. Better late than never.
As a goalkeeper there, would you prefer that your center back just go ahead and kick that ball back to you and let you just decide what to do with it at that point, or kind of themselves trying to clear it with the risk of that opponent being on them and having the chance to take it away?
So that's a great question. So in that scenario, had the center backs intervened a little sooner, I would have preferred a pass back to myself as the goalkeeper, of course. However, if they get back into that same scenario where they're basically breaking into my box, I would much prefer the center back to simply clear that ball into row Z and no one think of anything other than get rid of it.
Yep.
We can take a deep breath and try to refortify our defensive structure, regain that shape in the back if you simply clear and then the communication can occur, which is inevitably what Avery Young was forced to come out and do. Nice bit of passing there from the Broncos as it's won back by Baldwin.
Fanja trying to leave it out in front and use her speed to go get it, but you mentioned a couple of Division I prospects back on that back line for Spring Hill, so they make it awfully tough to get any opportunities. If you're going to just try to dribble it through them and create it on your own, they are not very likely to surrender a chance off of that.
Credit to Baldwin, however. They have been able to keep the likes of Mackenzie Hood in that center back role the whole night. Against lesser teams, she has been known to dribble her way into the attacking third and have a go, seemingly just for the fun of it. And if you can, why not? But credit to Baldwin, they've been enough of a congested pressure to force Hood to remain in her formational position.
And Verity Pollock returns along with Destiny Johnson and Taylor Mitchell now for Baldwin, as Drew Icing has gone a little deeper into the bench here in these final 14 minutes of this match on a 4-0 lead for Spring Hill. Two early goals from Kate Milroy really set the tone for this game. First came in the 5-minute mark, the second one at the 15-minute mark of the first half. So immediately it felt like Spring Hill buried Baldwin in a 2-0 hole. And then it was near the end of that first half at the 31-minute mark when Peyton Vogelbacher made it a 3-0 Spring Hill lead. And they did not waste much time into the second half. About 6 minutes in, 46-minute mark, a goal from Ronnie Ferris made it 4-0, and that's where we stand here with 13 minutes to play.
And the word that you used to describe the position that the two early goals from Kate Milroy put Baldwin into a hole, that's the perfect word to use there, because one goal is a small bunker, if you will. Whereas if a second goal goes in that quickly, you almost find yourself mentally falling into a hole, not just in terms of the match. You almost think negative thoughts that you don't want to be thinking about a match. Especially with so much of the game to go, you have to shake that out of your mindset really quickly. You have to shape your mentality really, really quickly to pull yourself back into it. Snap out of that negativity.
Now you just don't expect to fall behind by 2 goals so quickly into a match that it's kind of like all of a sudden you felt like you were in a bad dream and you just woke up and oh no, but we're 15 minutes into this thing and it's 2-0 already. And now Ferris can't get a clean look at it. Adjusting back over there was Mitchell and Pollock to make sure that Ferris didn't have a clean go of that one. So it will be another corner kick here for Spring Hill as Afanja comes back on for Baldwin.
And as I mentioned about Spring Hill during the halftime, how they had a similar match to this after their prom, the Monday after their prom. This is a Tuesday after Baldwin's prom. It's easy to forget about the intensity that's needed to play a sport at any level, let alone at the varsity level.
That one poked in by Reagan Downs. Used the left foot, kind of hit it with the outside part of her foot and just redirects it into the goal for the 5th of the game for the Spring Hill Broncos, who take a 5-0 lead with 11 and change to play in this second half.
Just unfortunate positioning there from Baldwin. As the Broncos were able to have a lucky drop of that ball, and Downs was able to be there, capitalize on that corner kick. Not quite an Olympico, as we discussed earlier, but all goals count the same on the score sheet.
That's right. It's the 4th different goal scorer of this game for Spring Hill. A pair from Milroy, and then Vogelbacher, Ferris, and Downs, each with a goal to add to it. And a 5-0 lead for Spring Hill on their way to their 6th win of the year, and will be their 4th straight win. The only thing really hanging in the balance at this point is, will it be a 4th straight shutout victory? And for that matter, all 6 victories, all 5 previous victories have come via shutout. So that's what Spring Hill is at this point trying to preserve, is another shutout victory, another clean sheet for Avery Young. Baldwin yet to have a shot attempt in this game. So let's see if the Bulldogs can find their way through this staunch defense of Spring Hill and put something, at least give it a run at the goal here, and if they're fortunate enough, find a way to score here in this final 10 minutes.
And it's at this point that I would say, as the coach of Baldwin, you just want to throw the book at it, right? You want to throw everything, and even the kitchen sink. You want to put as much pressure. You want to throw as many of your attacking players in. And if you want to keep your defenders out there, that's fine. Just tell them to get as far up the pitch as they can. At this point, the damage has been done, and it's seemingly irreparable in simply 10 minutes, at least based on the play that we've seen from Baldwin.
What a play there by Mackenzie Hood, as Afanja, for a brief moment, looked like she was going to have a chance to fire away, but Hood sliding in to make the play defensively. Showing off her talent on that back line. She's been impressive on the few opportunities that Baldwin has seemingly had to perhaps create something. Hood seems to be at the center of denying it all back there.
And she has been in that central position, the center of denying it all, as you said, this whole season for Spring Hill. She has been one of the stalwarts in that back line's brick wall for Spring Hill.
We're down to 8.5 minutes to play. For Spring Hill, they will continue their run with a game at Bonner Springs next up. And then they get Topeka Hayden in the game after that. Hayden, a team that is, well, last week, I haven't seen the new poll out this week yet, but Hayden was number 3 in the 4A poll. Of course, Spring Hill in the 5A ranks, but Hayden, a top team in the 4A classification. So that could be a nice challenge perhaps for Spring Hill coming up in that one. Baldwin, a team that's in that top 10 poll as well. They were 8th last week and then picked up a win over the number 5 Lewisburg, lost a 1-0 game to number 7. So we'll see where they end up in the next poll that should come out, I think, today, although I haven't seen it yet. And there's another goal for Peyton Vogelbacher, who joins Milroy as 2 goal scorers in this game and extends the lead to 6-0 for the Broncos.
Good opportunity there from Vogelbacher as she created a goal out of seemingly nothing. Able to pick up the ball just on the edge of that attacking third for the Broncos and dribbled past defender after defender on her way to slot that ball home.
Well, 6 goals given up in this game is by far a season high for this Baldwin defense. They had previously not surrendered any more than 2 goals in a match this year. And for Spring Hill, it's yet another big-time offensive performance. They now have 5 matches this year that they have scored a half dozen goals or more. Came in averaging just over 5 goals per game. That average will go up just slightly after this one, or perhaps more than slightly, depending on what happens, I guess, in the next 7 minutes.
Bryce, there's a bit of debate regarding inter-class play.
Okay.
And whether or not teams should be allowed to play other teams of bigger or lesser class sizes. So in this instance, it's a 5A school playing a 4A school, and Spring Hill's schedule is almost fully comprised of 6A teams or 5A teams outside of league play, which are all 4A teams in the Frontier League outside of Spring Hill. So what is your opinion? Do you think that those interleague matches should be allowed, or excuse me, interclass geez, words are really difficult sometimes, aren't they? Working a camera, working my mouth, trying to use my brain a little bit here and there as we go.
Well, I think I'm all for the playing of them. I don't see any issue with those. I think where you potentially could start the debate is when you're talking about for seeding purposes, postseason wise, whether if you're an upper class team that's playing a predominantly lower class schedule or something, I could see where there could be some debate about the, for lack of a better term, strength of schedule in regards to postseason seeding. But I was a small school kid myself, so I always liked taking on the bigger schools. So I like the interclass play. And I think part of it, too, as you mentioned, the Frontier League is primarily made up of 4A schools. So unless you're going to have some realignment of league members, which I believe Spring Hill may be looking into that, if I'm not mistaken.
And I would believe that you are correct. I believe they're looking at a 5A predominant 6A inclusive league.
It's just tougher in high school, unlike, the college ranks where you can consistently stay at what you want to be at. In high school where your enrollment figures are going to potentially change your classification year by year, or at least every couple of years anyway. It from a scheduling perspective, it becomes a little bit tougher if you disallow some of that.
That's very fair. And I appreciate your point regarding strength of schedule, as you said. Obviously, that's not the best.
Right. There's no the analytics of what you think of as strength of schedule not necessarily being there, but just in terms of in a vacuum, if you will.
Exactly. Spring Hill, I know, have been working on increasing that, as you say, strength of schedule, of playing those larger schools that are historically going to be more of a threat.
Yeah. Well, ultimately, I think ultimate goal for any program is to make your team the best you can be, improve your team the most you can, and if that's by way of confidence and trying to win more matches, or if that's by way of challenging your team and playing a tough schedule, as another goal is fired home for Spring Hill to make it a 7-0 lead. And that's Vogelbacher with her third, so a hat trick night for Peyton Vogelbacher. Baldwin is a good example of a team that has played a very tough schedule this year, and this, of course, is a very good 5A opponent in Spring Hill. They've played already 3 ranked teams in the latest 4A poll, 2 others that are in the receiving votes of that coach's poll, and 1 more still to come in the number 1 team in Bishop Miege. That's a tough slate. And when you play a schedule like that, you're bound to take some lumps. You're going to take some losses. Ultimately, though, does it make your team the best it can be when it really matters coming postseason time? And I'm of the camp that it does. And again, maybe it's year by year. Maybe it depends on the personnel that you have and how they respond to adversity, because clearly this is not a night that the Baldwin girls are going to want to remember. They're down 7-0 with 3 minutes to go. They're going to want to wash their minds of this game rather quickly, but there are lessons to be learned in situations like this, as you were mentioning earlier in the broadcast. And, it's abilities for teams to use a night where it's clearly not been your night and take that adversity from a game like this and use it to make your team stronger in the end. And if you can do that, not all teams can, though. Some teams can let games like this sort of put a defeated attitude towards them for the next couple of weeks, and that's certainly not what you want. And I think Drew Ising knows his squad and believes that they're a team that will respond positively to adversity, because the schedule they put out there to play was one that if you were weary of that, you probably wouldn't have put together the schedule that they did. So we'll see how they respond to what's been just a tough night for them.
I agree with a lot of those points, and I think that something else to bring into consideration is high school sports is a 4-year cycle, right? So you get a new crop of players every year, and then ideally you have those players, barring injury or transfer or whatever it may be, moving or however you may look at that, you have that player for 4 years. So he may be looking at this as the development of a system. He wants to implement a system over the next 4 years utilizing this freshman class, and by the time they're seniors, by the time they're juniors, hopefully next year, they're more acclimated to this system. They've garnered that mentality, that sense of adversity, as you mentioned, that will pay off more in the long term, if not in the short term of this season.
And to your point, 8 of the 11 starters, sophomores on this Baldwin team, just 3 seniors. And they are obviously a pivotal part of this program, the seniors, and Riley Smith, along with Abby Patterson, Izzy Rothwell. But a lot of youth for this Baldwin team, and they've had a very successful year, and this one result is not going to paint the picture of what's been a successful season. We have a long way to go. I'm talking kind of in finality terms, because this is our final broadcast of the year for the Baldwin soccer team. So this is our last chance to kind of talk about the program for this year. But this season, obviously, a long way from over. There's still 6 more games on the regular season slate, and then again, a postseason run that the Bulldogs will have a bright future and a real chance to make some noise in the 4A playoffs this year. And the tests aren't done with, I mentioned, a matchup with Bishop Miege coming up still a few matches from now, a little less than a week from today, in fact, on Monday next week. But a chance to get back on the pitch on Thursday. They'll visit Piper, and then home on Friday to take on Basler Linwood. At Miege, home with Tonganoxie, at Ottawa, and then home against KC Harmon to close out the year before the postseason. So this one is in the books, and Spring Hill with an impressive showing tonight here on their home field as they defeat the Baldwin Bulldogs 7-0, your final. We're back to wrap it all up for you on the postgame show right after this.
When choosing a bank, wouldn't you prefer doing business with a local institution with years of commitment to our community? That's Baldwin State Bank. For more than 100 years, we've been providing products and services specifically tailored to our friends in Baldwin City. Whether it's a free checking account, savings for retirement, or your next loan, we'll be here. Because our roots are here. Baldwin State Bank, proud supporter of the Baldwin Bulldogs. Come see us downtown or online at baldwinstatebank.com. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender. State Farm Insurance Agent Cody Anno is ready to be there for you every step of the way. From starting policies out to the day disaster strikes, Cody and his team are ready to help. Cody strives to be different, doing things the other people don't and other agencies won't, helping more people in more ways. That's Cody Anno State Farm. Call 785-594-0270 or stop by at 208 Baker Street for a cup of coffee and a free quote for your auto, home, or life insurance with Cody Anno, your local State Farm insurance agent in Baldwin City.
Well, this one is a final here in Spring Hill tonight, 7-0. The Spring Hill Broncos with a really impressive showing in this game as they win this one on the power of 2 early goals, really, by Kate Milroy, kind of set the tone for this game. And from that point on, Baldwin just never able to recover as they were unable to even get a shot on goal in this game. It was a great defensive effort by Spring Hill and an impressive offensive showing. 2 goals from Kate Milroy in the first 15 minutes. Peyton Vogelbacher added the first of what would end up being 3 goals for her late in the first half to give Spring Hill a 3-0 lead at the break. Ronnie Ferris added an early goal in the second half to continue the momentum for Spring Hill, put them up 4-0, and then it was about 23 minutes of back and forth, no goal scoring before Spring Hill there in the final 11 minutes scored 3 more goals, one from Reagan Downs and a couple more from Peyton Vogelbacher to, at that point, as you had mentioned a couple of times, Tristan, Baldwin starting to kind of just throw what they had at it to just try and create an opportunity, not obviously a situation they were going to win the game, but just to try to create a positive chance offensively, creating a couple of chances then for Spring Hill to tack on a couple of late goals. But overall, very impressive night for Spring Hill, a very tough night for Baldwin. That's just how it goes sometimes, and both teams will look to move on, and for Spring Hill, look to continue their strong play, now winners of 4 straight, and for Baldwin, they'll have to bounce back from what's easily their toughest loss of the year, but hopefully a learning experience for them tonight.
Absolutely, and as I've mentioned throughout the broadcast, Spring Hill had a match that was almost identical to this. Granted, Spring Hill were able to pull a goal or 2 out of their tough match that was post-prom, that they struggled with adversity and mentality and things like that. They came back, and that was what started this 4-win home run here in Spring Hill. Now, Baldwin, you noticed on the pitch, as you were talking just then, Coach Drew Ising had brought the players in near the mid-line, having a teachable moment, discussing how this match doesn't define them as players. This is educational soccer. This is student-athlete-based athletics, right? So not every match has everything on the line. Very smart of Drew Ising to use this as a teachable moment to say, look, we tried bunkering up. We tried to park the bus. We tried to throw everything at it at the end. And while we conceded a few at the end when trying to put all that pressure forward, as you mentioned, that's okay because they got their best opportunities in those moments of just throwing caution to the wind and throwing themselves at the opposing net. So this is definitely something that these players will look back on and say, you know, as little fun as we had in that game, it was certainly important that we had to go through that because it taught us adversity, it taught us character, and it helped strengthen our mentality going forward in the season.
And we'll see how that response looks when they once again take the field on Thursday with a trip to Piper and then back home Friday to take on Basler Linwood before 4 more games to follow after that. So there's still 6 to go in the regular season for the Bulldogs, who dropped to 6-3-1 with the loss, while Spring Hill improves to an identical 6-3-1 record with this victory. 7-0, your final, Spring Hill over Baldwin. For Tristan Jordan, I'm Bryce Kessler. Thanks for watching some Bronco and Bulldog soccer with us here tonight on Baldwin Sports Live. Coming up for us on the broadcast side of things here on Baldwin Sports Live, our next broadcast is not until the calendar turns to May, which isn't too far away, but next week on Thursday, as the Baldwin baseball team will host Santa Fe Trail. We'll have that doubleheader for you right here on Baldwin Sports Live. First pitch of the doubleheader is 4:30 against Santa Fe Trail there in Baldwin. So that's coming up next, our broadcast here on Baldwin Sports Live. Again, I'm Bryce Kessler. That's Tristan Jordan. We thank you so much for joining us. You've been watching Baldwin Bulldogs Soccer on Baldwin Sports Live.
You've been watching the Baldwin Bulldogs on Baldwin Sports Live. Baldwin Sports Live is brought to you by Kelly Neufeld, Farm Bureau Financial Services, Baldwin State Bank, Heartland Plumbing, Family Medicine of Baldwin City, Morningstar Care Homes, Trindle Lumber Company, State Farm Agent Cody Anno, One Choice Heating and Air Conditioning, Lamb Roberts Price Funeral Home, Rice Precision Manufacturing, Baldwin City Recreation Commission, Elite Chiropractic, the Lumberyard Arts Center, and by the Baldwin City Chamber of Commerce. Visit BaldwinSportsLive.com for the schedule of upcoming broadcasts on your home for the Baldwin Bulldogs, Baldwin Sports Live.